I'll never forget the one question my dad asked me, Nikhil, what is your legacy gonna be? And that stuck with me up until this day.
Dr. Sharma, your journey and the origin of AlignUs are truly inspiring. Let's start from the beginning. In reading your bio, you mentioned you were a young boy who believed in the world of love and generosity. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that young boy was me. Certainly growing up in a middle class family and home. The one thing my parents always instilled in me was that it was a responsibility for us and a duty to give back to those who were less fortunate. That's why we would spend like a lot of our summers in India, and witnessing the smiles of children's faces, it just left a lasting impression on my face and in my body and soul. And because my parents' legacy was to leave behind one that is filled with helping others, I'll never forget the one question my dad asked me, Nikhil, what is your legacy gonna be? And that stuck with me up until this day. And that question is one of the reasons why AlignUs has been built.
It's incredible how those experiences shape your path. You went on to become a physician, specializing in working with patients suffering from addiction and obesity-related liver failure. Can you share what led you to focus on this particular population?
Yeah, well, as soon as my medical training was done, literally a couple months later, I got the news that my mom had terminal ovarian cancer. And just a few months after receiving that news, she unfortunately passed away. But during her treatment, I just remember specifically how detached the doctors were and how robotic in nature they were acting. And it made me self-reflect to think, is that how I interact with my patients? I certainly hope not. And after that experience, it made me want to focus on connecting that personal bond, that connection with people, and go on the journey with those who came into my life. And so I chose to concentrate on the liver failure population, where I discovered that their issues were due to emotional, physical, and spiritual traumas. And that played a significant role in struggles with their addiction and obesity.
Your dedication to your patients is truly commendable. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, which further highlighted the health risks faced by the obese population. What inspired you to create Yolo, the app that focused on childhood obesity and food insecurity?
Yeah, man. COVID, that was a rough time period, like 2 years of intense, work in the hospital. But more importantly, it was seeing patients just coming in the hospital like day after day and dying. Yeah, I'd never experienced anything like that before. It was a shock to the whole health community and just a shock to my own system. And I was just seeing like 21-year-olds, 30-year-olds just coming in, getting COVID, and then dying. And the main issue that they were all suffering from was, obesity. And so I was like, we need to do something about this. It's hard to see that kind of death in our youth and not want to help. And so me and two of my colleagues, we developed the Yolo app, and we targeted food insecurity, specifically in the children, because that's obviously our future. And specifically in Louisiana, 30% of the children here suffer from childhood obesity. That's the worst in the entire United States of America. So you could see why New Orleans was most affected by COVID. So we wanted to create an app that would allow people to be able to work out, and lose weight and get into better shape, all while at the same time helping those in need. So the app was created in the sense of every time you work out, you would end up donating one healthy meal. And we actually partnered with Revolution Foods on this challenge. And we call the challenge the grind for the 9, because we were working with children in the 9th Ward, and Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen, she was fantastic. She was a great partner in helping focus on this cause. And within a month, we had 100 users, and we ended up donating 1,000 meals to those children. And the cool thing was that the users of the challenge, they were allowed to go to the school and actually hand over those meals to the kids. So like you get that like feedback loop, right? Which is really cool. It's not that you're just working out. It's like, oh my God, I'm working out and I'm handing over like my hard work in terms of what I was working for. I can see where it's going, you know? And that's powerful, right? Like that, really that gives our brain, we have these neurotransmitters like dopamine, they start getting released when we see people's faces smiling based on something we did, right? And so that's what we wanted to accomplish, was helping people, you know, create this feedback loop. And so that was an incredible experience. And then we did another challenge where we worked with a dog rescue company called Take Paws, which is also located in New Orleans, a fantastic company. And in that challenge, though, it was a little bit different, where we pitted 2 people against each other. So we had like 2 captains, and the goal for the captains were to get as many people on their team to work out and donate at the same time. And what was really cool about that challenge was it was a 2-week challenge, but we actually had somebody match the donation. And so we ended up raising $2,000. And so somebody saw what we were doing, because our app is linked to social media, and they were so excited that they donated $2,000 themselves. So we ended up donating a total of $4,000 to Take Paws. And so, you know, 2 great challenges that ended up really helping out our community.
I want to say that's truly impactful work. However, you faced personal struggles during that time, including addiction and the departure of your partners. Can you tell us how you overcame those challenges?
Yeah, undoubtedly. That was a really dark period in my life. You know, I was making a transition from being a physician in the hospital to being a founder of a tech company, all while my dad wasn't feeling well, my dog was a little bit sick, and I was just overextending myself. And I realized that my own cup was completely empty, but yet I kept trying to push through instead of asking others for help. But that dark time period was, in fact, what I call like a dark shadow of the soul. And it was like divine intervention occurred, and that brought me to want to go and get some help for myself, and got me to rehab. And you know, it can be like a scary situation, but I was blessed to be surrounded by other doctors, other nurses, you know, people who are in the same situation as me. They've gone through enormous amounts of life traumas and issues, and we just used addiction as a way to cope, you know, because we didn't really have those coping mechanisms per se. And so it was a dark time period, but that led to this awakening, you know, of self-realization, which all occurred there. And that was beautiful. It was truly beautiful. And it allowed me to really find out like who I was, so that now I'm the most authentic version of myself. That person is a very loving, generous, and altruistic person. And if that didn't happen, then none of this would be possible. So I'm truly grateful for everything that's occurred. And yeah, it's what brought us here.
Your resilience is inspiring, Dr. Sharma. From that transformative experience, AlignUs was born. Can you share how AlignUs aims to make a difference?
AlignUs is my passion, it's my mission, rooted in the belief that we can prevent poor health outcomes by addressing trauma and improving mental well-being. It's about creating a connected community that promotes self-love, self-empowerment, and nurtures all human beings. AlignUs combines self-realization, self-care, physical competition, and charitable donations to transform and heal individuals, all while making a positive impact on the world.
It's clear that AlignUs holds tremendous potential for personal growth and collective well-being. Thank you for sharing your journey and the vision behind AlignUs, Dr. Sharma. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, this journey isn't easy. Going through any kind of spiritual awakening, or really better termed as self-realization and self-discovery, it's not easy. It will mean that you'll likely end relationships, move jobs, but the thing is through that process, you'll get the ultimate prize, which is freedom. And that is priceless. And you'll be able to live the most authentic version of yourself. What else can you ask for? It's been a pleasure to share my story and the mission of AlignUs. Together, we can create a world where compassion and making a positive difference are at the forefront of our lives. As like every week, we close the podcast offering a challenge to our viewers and listeners. This week's AlignUs podcast challenge is to list in the comment section below or on our social media pages, 1, do you donate to charities? And 2, which charities are you attached to? And for those who don't donate currently, is there anything we can do at AlignUs to make it easier for you to give? Thank you for tuning into the AlignUs podcast, where we inspire a world of wellness and philanthropy. For more resources and events, and to stay connected to AlignUs or the app release, please visit our website at www.alignusworld.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok with the handle @AlignUsWorld. Until we meet again, stay aligned, stay connected, and stay anchored into the power of unconditional love. Namaste.